Welcome back, everyone, for another episode of Tech Talk.
I'm Roy for the tech.
And I'm Merle for the talk.
So, we're now on our 7th episode, and before that, we would like to say, from the bottom of our hearts, from Tech Talk and iPodcast, happy belated Halloween!
Yep, happy belated Halloween, everyone.
Because it's already November, we're recording this in November, and we're releasing this on November.
Yep, and as we're recording this episode, it's around the scariest time of the year, so strap in, boys and ghouls, for one spooky lineup.
The only thing scarier than Halloween was that there wasn't any spooky things that we associate with it. The spooky atmosphere is not there. There's no spooky, scary skeletons. But then again, it's the year 2020, and you can basically say that this entire year is a Halloween.
Yep, the entire year was scary. Alright? Roy, you forgot to mention one thing. What about the bad jokes that ensued?
Oh my god. Yes. I totally forgot because it's time for me to arm my dad joke shield and point it to Earl because Earl is armed with a dad joke gun with seemingly unlimited dad joke bullets. My god, Earl, stop, please.
Alright? Like a skeleton would say, "Buto ako dyan, pare." Wink, wink.
If Ethan and Luis, our friends, were here, that is one straight kick from the group chat for 5 minutes.
Another kick from the group chat, baby. Alright, so as stated by my colleague before, my co-host here, actually not colleague, my co-host, we will be releasing this episode in November. Pero okay lang yun, di ba, Roy? Kasi pwede naman natin Halloween na lang yan, di ba? Get it?
Stop. Stop. You're shooting the dad joke gun again. Alright.
Absolutely.
Alright. This is a Halloween themed episode, but let's not detract that we're also going to be talking about bullying in the banter section.
Yep, absolutely. This is important. So, now let's move on to the banter section. And as stated before by my co-host here, my wonderful co-host, that we're going to be talking about bullying. So, Roy, do you know what Netiquette is?
It's etiquette, but for the internet. Woo.
Woo. Yeah, it's just that simple.
Net and then etiquette. Yeah.
Yep, as Roy mentioned before, Netiquette is just etiquette, but for the internet. So you just only need to remember 3 rules that more or less narrow down Netiquette. Which are, the first one is remember the human. Again, who you're talking to online isn't some robot. That's an actual person that can feel can actually feel emotions. So remember, be careful about what you say. And the second one, which also ties into the first one, is whatever you post stays posted.
Yeah, so you can't really delete it.
Yep, and a good example of that are basically celebrities that end up posting like tweets that end up biting them in the butt. Just be careful about what you say because whatever you post, you can't get rid of it. It's going to be there forever.
Yeah, it's the common rule of the internet. What stays posted is posted there forever.
Exactly. Nothing
you can delete it. Yeah, you can delete it, but someone will have a copy of it somewhere.
Exactly, and they're going to use it against you. All right, so
just be careful.
Yeah, just absolutely just be careful. And the third one, which is more or less, to keep it simple, it's more or less empathy. But the real word is conduct yourself how you want to be received online. So more or less, it's just treat others how you want to be treated, but instead of in real life, you're doing it online. Whoa.
Whoa. I mean, really, it's just like when you're outside, like for points 1 and 3, you bully someone, and then someone bullies you back. You can't really cry wolf because, you did it, and then if somebody does that to you, it's like the common saying, do unto basically,
it's alright, Roy. Let's take our time. I think what my co-host here wanted to say was, more or less, it would be hypocritical for you to end up crying about bullying when you yourself bullied someone in the past. I think that's what my co-host wanted to say.
Yeah, right? There is a movie about that, but
that's for the later
a silent voice. Yeah, a silent voice. Let's talk about that later.
But we're gonna talk about that later. So now we're gonna talk about ways to avoid bullying and ways to counteract it. All right. So again, it's hard to deal with a bully. All right.
It's not really a simple thing. It's not.
It's not as simple as people would think it is. In fact, it's one of the hardest things people could do. So here at Tech Talk, we're gonna make sure to at least give you some tips to at least avoid bullying and ways to counteract it. All right. Of course, different methods work for everyone, but these are the methods that we could provide at the moment. All right. So the first one is to avoid bullying is to first the most simple and the most direct way, which is to ignore the bully. But of course, sometimes that doesn't work as they keep harassing you no matter what you do. All right, bullying nowadays, since again it's quarantine, no one can really go out. So
Yeah, bullying is now online.
yep, bullying is now online nowadays. But but one of the most direct and simple ways to go about avoiding bullying is to just ignore it, because if you don't react to what they're saying to you, or you don't care about what they say about you, it's not going to bother you. Because at the end of the day, people who cyberbully just want a reaction out of the people they're bullying. So don't give them that satisfaction. Better yet, makipagsapakan kayo in real life. De joke lang. I'm kidding.
Please no.
Alright? Challenge them to a gentleman or a womanly brawl outside at Quiapo. I'm just kidding. Alright? Just kidding. Alright? Alright, so the second way to avoid bullying is, of course, to just I guess the second is one of the more direct ways as well, is to just block them. The magic block button. Whoa, it makes the bullies just disappear. Because if you block them, they can't respond to your posts or bother you anymore. Wow. Isn't that amazing, Roy?
It is an amazing feature that I don't use.
Yeah, but
yeah.
I've used it a couple of times, but you don't need to talk about that. So the third one, which is I think one of the more least effective ways to I guess stop bullying, but again it's one of the I guess it can work if you do it correctly. It's the third one is, of course, just try talking to the bully, just telling him to stop, like knock it off, dude, you're not funny or something like that. But again, this is up for debate because this doesn't always work, and more often than not, it might just provoke the bully to do even more, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, all of these things are your mileage may vary thing.
Yep. More or less, we're just giving some tips. We're not guaranteeing that these will work, but these are the tips that we can provide you.
I mean, I was bullied before in elementary, mind you, so that was a long time ago.
We all were, Roy. There was no such thing as a person who wasn't bullied.
Yeah, who wasn't.
We all went through it, at some point. All right. Yeah. Now, Roy, about that show, A Silent Voice, you talk about. Can you tell me about that?
Wait, didn't you watch it as well?
A Silent Voice. I remember what. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think I.
Yeah, I think I'm remembering a different movie.
Yep. I
think that was your name.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So about The Silent Voice. I mean, the entirety of the movie revolves around bullying and redemption.
Yep.
Because the bullying part is way more obvious at the beginning. I won't really spoil it. It's just basically boy bullies girl.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I forgot the characters as well. So boy bullies girl.
Understandable.
Yeah. This was when they were like kids. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Girl is deaf.
Okay.
That's why the boy is bullying the girl. But because of the boy's persistent bullying to the girl, until it escalated to the point that she got injured, she was transferred to somewhere else. And now, because remember this, the boy was in cahoots with like his peers.
Oh no! So that makes it even worse.
And what do you think happened?
Well, of course, his peers realized that, oh no, this dude went too far, and now they turned on him. Like, that's the one thing I could think of.
Yes, basically. So now he was the one being relentlessly bullied. Now he was the one that what do you call this? Isolated.
Yeah, he was the one being shunned.
So basically, it's just a cycle.
Yep, bullying never stops,
Yeah, it's an endless cycle, really.
Yeah, should you do it to others? Like, for example, if you bully someone else and your reason is because, this person bullied another person, then you're no better than that person.
Bullying you're just repeating the cycle.
Yeah, it never stops. So just be careful, alright? Don't bully as a solution to bullying. That's like saying, hey, how do I get rid of this fire? By pouring gasoline on it. Alright? It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way, yeah.
Alright, so now that's enough about bullying for now. Now let's move on to the real meat and bones of our podcast, the tech section. Our sinigang. All right, so
sinigang time.
Yep. So now let's talk about creative horror writing websites. A lot of us have at least run into one of these websites. You know, the type of websites that write these amazing horror stories made by freelance writers and freelance content creators, right? These people have amazing skills and are very talented at what they do. And I'm going to name two websites that I'm pretty sure a lot of our listeners know, and I'm pretty sure at least one of them that you know, Roy, or at least you know both of them. So the first one is creepypasta.net. Have you heard of that, Roy?
I have one thing to say about that.
Yes.
Hyper realistic
eyes.
everything.
Bro, he drove his hyper-realistic 1995 Toyota Camry down the street with his hyper-realistic eyes looking down the road.
With his hyper-realistic hands.
And his
until he saw a hyper-realistic person staring hyper-realistically at him.
Yep. More or less, it's those type of stories. But okay, jokes aside, there are a lot of good stories on creepypasta.net, alright? And I'm gonna give this I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. A lot of the stories there are actually creepy, alright? Just stay away from there are ones that are really bad, don't get me wrong. Like, for example, there was Super Mario's Hell or Regular Hell, you know, about regular show. And it's all the same, it follows the same formula of hyper-realistic eyes, alright? But aside from that, like, creepypasta.net is a really good source of of good horror stories, and most people, this is something that most people don't know about creepypasta.net is that creepypastas aren't really meant to scare the reader, but more to make them feel creeped out, as the name entails, or uncomfortable. Like, that's their real aim, to make you feel uncomfortable. So there are two creepypastas, alright? Not one, not two. Actually, no, those are two. My bad. Okay, so just not one, but two creepypastas, Roy. We're gonna get
not three, but two.
Two. All right, we're gonna get a 2-for-1 deal. All right. So the first one is the room at the end of the hallway, or commonly known as the red keyhole. More or less, to give you the gist without spoiling the story, there was this guy staring at the hotel, and the desk lady was like, "Hey, don't look at don't go into the room at the end of the hallway." And the guy was like, "Haha, I'm gonna go into the room at the end of the hallway," but it was locked. So what he do? He looked through the keyhole. Oh no, there's a lady staring in the corner. And I'm not gonna spoil the big twist here. That's up to our readers to read, to actually read the entirety of the story. But I can tell you, it's chilling.
Or if they read it before, up to them to remember it.
Yep, up to them to remember it. So the second one is called Meek. More or less, it's about this overweight person, like this unhealthy person. Like, we're talking a 600-pound type person, alright? He's so unhealthy, and he vents out his frustrations on people online. You know, basically your local Discord admin. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Alright?
So basically bullying others online just for his enjoyment.
Exactly. And he wants to vent out his frustrations in like the worst way possible. And what happens to him? He goes too far. He does it to the wrong person. And now, because of that, he ends up getting doxxed, he ends up getting hacked, and people figure out where he is, and now he's going to be chased. I'm gonna leave our readers to read this one as well, because the thing that makes this terrifying and more on creepy is the accuracy of how realistic it is. Like, this is not far from happening in real life.
Yeah, so, and it's not those hyper-realistic things.
Yeah, it's not the hyper-realistic thing. This thing can actually this situation can actually happen in real life. So be careful of what you say to others online, or else you might attract the wrong type of attention. Alright, so moving on. Roy, have you heard of webtoons?
Yep, I know. Yeah, I don't have an account for it, but yeah, I know the website.
More or less, webtoons is similar to creepypasta in the SCP Wiki. Oh, which of course I forgot to mention about the SCP Wiki. The SCP Wiki is more or less this website where people write creatures, or document entries about mythical items or creatures that are scary. I guess I'll give you one as an example. So in the SCP Wiki, there's an SCP called SCP-17. Oh wait, no, yeah, it's 173. And more or less, what it is it's this peanut. That's it. The peanut that if you look at it, it can't move. But as soon as you look away, it starts moving towards you. And if it gets close enough to you, your neck's gone. Alright? That's more or less what SCPs are. They're just like creatures that people write. It's a way for people to be creative with, okay, how does this item work? Alright? What makes it weird? What makes it unique? More or less, this is what the SCP Wiki is. And there's a lot of terrifying entries that I would recommend that are our listeners actually look up on.
Oh yeah, just off topic.
Yes.
I mean, you know that there are a lot of SCP games, indie games,
Yep.
revolving around SCP. Yeah.
Yep.
But have you seen a AAA game do the same thing?
No. Wait, hold on. Is this SCP Unity? Are you talking about SCP Unity?
No. Ever heard of Control?
Control? Sadly not. I don't think I've heard of this game before.
Oh. it's like SCP. Yeah, it's
It's
kind of
like,
cool.
alright, okay, that's an awesome little addition, right? So anyway, moving on. So again, to what I was talking about, Webtoons. It's an app that allows...
Horror website.
Yeah,
In general,
website.
it's not the horror website in general.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
But
say.
there are horror stories in there.
Yep. Webtoons has a fine selection of horror
Horror comics.
Yeah, horror comics that anyone could read and enjoy. All right, Webtoon, but be warned, the Webtoons isn't, again, as my co-host stated, it's not primarily a horror website, but it does have horror comics. All right. So more or less, Webtoons is available for your phone, like it's available as an app, and it's available on a website as a website as well. And more or less, it's a way for you, if you create an account, it's a way for you to support freelance content creators and comic makers. And might I recommend 2 comics that you can read from Webtoons? 2 of my personal favorite horror comics.
Which is
The first one is called Elena, which is more or less a woman who descends into insanity due to the social pressures of marriage and family. We've all been there, feeling pressured, especially you, Roy. I'm just kidding. We've all been there when it comes to feeling pressured, alright? Sometimes it will be pressured in our studies, pressured from work, pressured to keep up with our friends, you know?
Yeah, for me personally, it's the pressure for studies. I have to maintain my honors standing.
Absolutely, Roy, and I can relate with you on that. I also have the pressure to maintain my honors, and I have this pressure to keep up with my friends as well. Like, trust me, it's a normal thing that everyone experiences. You don't need to be ashamed of it. But and it plays off of that common fear of what social pressure can do to us. Not necessarily what happens if we don't keep it up, but what it can do to us if we're not careful. Like if we keep
it's like the disappointment.
Yeah, it's the disappointment, but aside from that, it's what it can do to us should we push if our pressures push us too far. And that is what Elena, that's the scary thing about Elena. It plays off of that fear. All right. And to summarize the story, Elena is a single woman who doesn't have any romantic interests, who has a normal job she's a middle class woman. She doesn't have anything going on for her, but she has a comfortable life. What happens though is she ends up feeling pressured because a lot of her friends are getting married, starting families, getting better jobs, and she starts feeling pressured, to keep up.
It's a spiral into insanity.
Yeah. Yep. She ends up going insane because of it. She ends up doing things outlandish just to keep up. All right. So the second one on our list, Roy. Okay, I can see, Roy, that you're not as into it as I would like. So Roy, Roy, what do you call it?
What is
when
it?
somebody farts in the dark and nobody hears it, but they smell it?
Oh my god, Earl. If this is a dad joke, I swear. If Ethan and Luis hears this, that's a kick for 5 minutes in the group chat again.
I'm already used to that, Roy. I'm too powerful. Alright, so tell me.
Stop. Okay. Say the joke again.
Alright. If somebody farts in the dark, nobody hears it, but everyone smells it, what do you call that? It's called silent horror.
My god! Earl!
So anyway,
Stop!
Yeah, alright. The second comic
Oh
I
my
want to
God.
recommend to our viewers is called Silent Horror. And more or less, Silent Horror is just a collection of short comics depicting themes with big twists. What that means is, for example, there was this guy. Alright, so to fit in our theme with bullying, one that I can remember at the top of my head is that, before I go into that, actually, this is all written by a artist called Darkbox, and Darkbox does a really good good job with these. But one of the first depictions is called bullying, and in this story, more or less, the bully more or less ends up like, okay, there was this girl that was really like really high, she had a high nose, you know, like, I mean, like, she had her head like held up high all the time. She kept belittling others, and she would end up bullying this one girl, and eventually, like, it ends up biting. She does it for a long time until eventually it ends up biting her in the butt. All right. Mind you, this isn't just one continuous story. It's a collection of short comics with different stories. So this is just one of them. And one of the things that I could remember, actually, one of the things I like, is that at the end, what happens is she ends up like falling into a hole somewhere, like it was a manhole, and she goes out. But there were a bunch of students passing by, but they start recognizing their voice, but they end up just passing her by. So more or less, it's just it's those type of stories with the big twist. And the big twist there was that the people that didn't help her were actually the ones that were with her the whole time, like her actual friends. Mm-hmm. So more or less, it goes to show that opposite effect. So anyway, that's enough about that. Now let's talk about super short horror stories. Are you prepared for that, Roy?
This better not be that fart joke, please. Stop.
It's not the fart joke, I swear. Okay. Alright. The super short horror stories, more or less, is about more or less. These are stories that are really short. Like they're they're so short. Like they're 4 or 5 sentences long. That's how short they are. And to give you an example, Roy, I'm pretty sure you've heard of this one. Roy.
What?
Okay.
I think I don't know why, but I'm getting scared whenever you're about to talk about these kinds of things because I don't know if this is a joke or not.
It's not a joke. All right.
The dad jokes, my God, this is like scarier than those stories that we're talking about. Oh my
just
God.
to keep you on your toes, Roy, so you don't end up spacing out in front of the listeners. All right.
All right.
So for the super short horror stories, one of my favorites is called Knock. All right, and it's only 5 sentences long. So the first one is: I used to hear knocking all the time whenever I'm asleep, and I was never scared of them. But I started shaking when I heard it again coming from the mirror. See, it gives a little chill up the spine. You know, these are just these short bursts of like scares coming from her spine. And here's another one. Like here's another spine rattler to rattle up the old bones. All right. The second one. The second one is called scratching. All right. Every night I would always wake up in night terrors, and I would end up scratching something that was never there in front of me. However, one night as I was screaming, I realized I heard the shoveling coming from overhead, and the blood on my fingernails scratching the top of the coffin. So,
scary.
Oh, see that? Now that's scary. Yeah. All right. So that's all I have for creative horror writing websites for now. If you want more, go to the websites I just mentioned, wonderful listeners. All right. Anyway, Roy, let's move on to your section. What would you like to call your section, Roy?
Oh yeah. Oh, now this is an avalanche of emotions. Of course, yeah. I mean, it fits in with the horror, but not in the way you think.
Yep.
What do you think it is?
All right. What do I think it is? All right, Roy. So it's unconventional, right? It's not the same type of it's an unconventional type of horror.
Yeah. Okay. Let me connect the dots for you. You know that I like phones.
Yep.
Now I design apps, right?
Yep. That you do that in your free time most of the time.
Yeah. Now try to connect the two. What am I talking about?
Is it apps and a phone? Is it app development?
No. Ever heard of the thing Internet of Things?
Is this the one where you connect your shoe? You have to update your shoes.
Well, yep, you have it right. Alright, so my topic is the horrors of the Internet of Things.
Oh my
Of
God.
course, so let me begin. Now, when we talk about the Internet of Things, you would think, smart home devices.
Roy, you should have told me about Internet of Things. You've just given me more possibilities for dad jokes. It's over for you, Roy. It's over.
Oh my God.
Alright, can I just say one joke before you continue? Please, Roy. Just
Alright. You have
for our
one
listeners,
joke.
Alright, for our listeners, alright? Please do not dislike the video because of me. This is just a joke, alright? Alright, Roy. What do you call it? Okay, so since you're talking about Internet of Things, you know how you can update your shoes? Right? Or you can update your shoes. That's a thing you can do, right? So when you put them on, can it be considered booting up?
Oh my god!
Got it!
God, this is... Oh my god! You know... If Ethan or Luis ever listens to this segment, oh, that's a 10-minute kick out.
Like I said, Roy, you shouldn't have given me the tools. Now it's endless.
That's it. I'm talking about phones.
All right. So tell me more about your phone. Tell me more, Roy. Tell me more.
All right. So IoT. We think smart home devices. You know,
like,
smart bulbs, smart doors. You know, the smart door locks.
Oh yeah, and like if I remember, there's even a Roomba you can use with your phone, right? Yeah, there's a Roomba.
Yeah. Those vacuum cleaners.
Yep.
I mean, we don't have Roomba here, as far as I know, but we do have the Xiaomi equivalent. So yeah.
Yeah, more or less, we got that.
Yeah, this is not advertising or anyway. I'm just saying that since I go to the Xiaomi store all the time.
Yeah, it's just for the
before
sake
the
of,
quarantine.
Yeah, and fun fact, I used to go with Roy all the time to the Xiaomi stores.
Looking at phones that I can't afford.
Same. And I'm looking at a Roomba that I won't ever need. But hey, it's nice to look at.
Yeah, but anyway, IoT in general, aside from the smart home things, because that is considered really useful.
Yep.
But it comes to the point where a lot of companies are increasingly making things IoT, where you could argue shouldn't be. Like,
like your toothbrush.
Yeah, like, why do I have to update my toothbrush?
Just to use it, yeah.
Yeah, and why does my toothbrush, if I modify it, control my smart bulbs? Why? Why does it control my TV? And yes, it actually happened.
Why does my toothbrush control the TV, bro?
I mean, you can play games with a Samsung smart fridge using Xbox xCloud. Yes, gaming with a smart fridge is now possible.
What if your toothbrush controls the way you draw? Then would we call it a brush tool?
Oh my god!
Got him!
Stop! I mean, yes, in this day and age, because of how computers are integrated into our cars now,
it's self-driving.
like for example, in the US, people jailbreak. You know jailbreaking, right?
No, right? Yeah, people jailbreak, but I just thought of another pun for the car. Alright, you just continue before I lay it.
No, I mean, wait, do you know jailbreaking, right?
Yeah, jailbreaking is, more or less what you're doing is you're modifying your iPad in a way so all of the games in the App Store become free.
No, not really. It's just basically modifying it in the way that the manufacturer didn't intend.
Oh, alright.
But anyway, I mean, that's the gist of it. I mean, what you're saying is jailbreaking in a way. Because it requires jailbreaking for that to work. But anyway, I mean, people are jailbreaking their tractors, their Teslas.
Let me jailbreak my Teslas in a sec.
I mean, there's more, like...
Wait, you said Teslas have built-in computers, right?
Yeah.
What do Tesla owners say before they go out with their car?
Oh my, what?
Let me just update my drive.
Wait, that joke is kinda... I mean, at least where I read, that's kinda common. Sorry.
Let me just update my drive, but hey, it was pretty good though.
Yeah. Like, like there's one more, like, you jailbreak your phone, now you can't update your toothbrush.
Now you can't update your toothbrush. Haha, sucks for you, you can't use a toothbrush.
And then there's even more, like, you know Amazon's Ring? the ring line of security cameras, doorbells, and stuff.
Yeah.
Now they have a drone camera that
Oh.
flies around your home.
What? Isn't that a breach of privacy then?
Shh, this is Amazon.
I mean, Amazon has your address. It's not like you're exactly hidden. They know.
Yeah, I mean, we talking about privacy, yet we use Facebook, so
Exactly, dude.
the joke's on us.
Exactly. All right. So, anything else you got for us?
Let's see. Oh, look. I forgot the login credentials for my robot vacuum cleaner. Why does a robot vacuum cleaner need an account?
Damn, that sucks.
Same goes for headphones. Why do I need...
Wait.
What?
Okay. You totally missed it, Roy. Don't worry. When you re-listen to the recording, you'll catch that. You'll catch that joke.
Can you just say it, please?
It sucks. Damn, that sucks. Because it's a
Yeah, I mean... it really sucks anyway.
Yep.
So, there's... Oh, wait, there's more.
What?
Let's see.
Roy, saan ba ginagamit yung Roomba? Sa Roomba?
Stop. Please stop. Please stop. Oh, wait, this is my personal favorite.
What?
We're verifying that your bed is connected to the server.
What? Why would you need to connect your bed to the server? Let me just update my mattress real quick.
Yeah,
What?
let's see. There's more. My internet-powered grill, those barbecue grills, needs to update. So
You can't use it. What's the point?
Yeah.
Then what's the point? Damn, like a lot of these things are scary. Like these are really scary.
a $400 coffee machine that is a DRM. That's a DRM coffee machine. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right.
$300 for a smart toaster.
What? Why is it called a smart toaster?
Because it has a screen and it connects to the internet.
Why? Why would anyone? Why would it need to do that? Anyway.
Oh wait, just one more.
All right.
My sink is a pain to update.
Why would you need to update your sink?
Yes, the kitchen sink. It requires an over-the-air update.
Bro, updated na tubig ko. Update ko lang sink ko para up-to-date yung tubig ko, ha?
Yeah.
Ano iniisip ko my water's out of date, bro. Let me update it real quick para up-to-date yung
Yes.
tubig.
Welcome to the IoT connected world.
Yep, it's a lot scarier than you think because what if one of them is equipped with a microphone?
I mean, we jest, but then, I mean, the two phones that I have next to me, well, you kind of get the gist.
Yep.
You kind of get the point.
Yeah, we get. So moving on, Roy. Do you have any tech-related horror for us?
I mean, that is the tech horror that I know, but this is not related to the internet in general. But ever ridden a plane?
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. It's plain simple. Of course I have.
All right, I'll just ignore that joke. And all right, ever heard of the phrase "just turn it off and on again"?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Are you connecting the two?
Oh. Did the pilots turn a plane on and off?
No.
What did they
What I'm saying is that anyway, past a certain number of days, past 200 days, there is for some Boeing aircraft, there is a high chance for all the screens and computers to simply go blank.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you could say, every 200 days.
All right. So it went blank, and they had to turn it on.
No. This is a hypothetical.
All right.
It's a hypothetical because it can happen, but realistically, it never has happened.
It hasn't happened yet. All right.
Yeah. No, what I'm talking about is that basically, while you're in flight, all the plane's computers can simply go blank.
Oh no, and what
They,
happens?
okay, so what if all the things that control your airplane simply turn off?
Oh no. You're gonna end up... there's no way to control the plane then.
You get what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah,
Plane
because
crash.
time for me to plug my hobbies of watching plane crash documentaries. But
Absolutely.
anyway, it realistically hasn't happened because once a week they turn it off and on again. It's routine anyway, so.
And
yeah.
just for... Oh yeah, unrelated note, I wanted to say this, Roy, but Raf, our editor Raf, and our content manager Sergey, I am so sorry for the amount of puns and dad jokes that are in this episode. Please don't kick me out of our GC, please.
You know, since Ethan is also our researcher, if he proofreads, proof listens to this, that's a kick from the GC, guaranteed.
No. Especially the shoe joke. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh yeah, something unrelated, just for lightheartedness.
Yeah?
Remember the Choco Shopao incident?
Alright. On an unrelated note, it's time I tell our listeners to a treat of a story. It's time to treat them to this. It's okay. It's a funny story that happened to me and Roy's mutual friend, alright? I'm going to say his name so that everyone knows this wonderful man, right? This dude is one of the best people I've met, alright? Wouldn't you agree, Roy?
Mm-hmm.
His name is the legendary man, the myth, the legend, Renzo Villaflor, alright? Alright, so...
It's a horror story, mind you, guys.
It's a horror story because you won't want this to happen to you. Alright, so back in grade, I think back before the quarantine, like around grade 12 or grade 11, I don't quite remember, but I would say grade 12. Back when we were all in the Academy campus of Yakal, things were good, right? And everyone remembers that sometimes suspensions happen and the whole street floods so easily and it becomes really muddy and hard to reverse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So me and this one friend were walking together, and he had decided to stop to a 7-Eleven to get some snacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So so of course I pick up my usual coffee and hot dog, okay? And he picks up a siopao, alright? And he gets extra sauce with it. So what happened is, me and another friend of mine end up walking down the actual, the street that leads to Makati Ave. Alright, because we were meeting that's where we're meeting with a friend who has a parent picking them up, and nakikisabay lang kami. So as we're walking down that street, of course nauna na kami, so we left that friend with we left Renzo behind with his siopao with another mutual friend of ours, Andre Cordero, which might I add is the newest member of our research team. Alright, just a little plug there.
Mm-hmm. Welcome, Andre.
Alright, so as we're walking down the street, alright, my friend looks behind and says, "Nasaan na si Renzo?" And he ends up covering his mouth and running to the front, and tumalikod siya. And I was like, "Why is he laughing?" And then I just see my friend Renzo holding this siopao covered in mud, and he was like, "Why did you have to pass by here? Why?" And that's when I realized, oh no, he dropped it in the mud.
And that's where the nickname Choco Shopao was born.
That's where the Choco Shopao that's where the nickname Choco Shopao came from, and we even took a picture of it, alright? But the funnier part is that it didn't happen just once, it happened twice. And the first time was my friend Renzo's fault. The second time was my fault, alright? The second time is, alright, my friend we bought the exact same thing, alright? And as we were walking, he didn't ask for a paper bag. Instead, he just, he was waving his siopao around whoa, it's gonna happen again, whoa. He was tempting fate, alright? And what ended up happening is we made it to the car, alright? We were all getting ready to strap in. We're all gonna sit in the car. Alright, he was fixing his bag in the trunk, and he gave me his siopao. He's like, "Earl, pahawak." So yung ginawakan ko, I think someone bumped into me, or I think I almost tripped, and I ended up dropping his siopao again on the floor, covering it with tiny pebbles and a bit of mud.
Let's go, Choco Shopao Part 2.
And let's just say, it was so sad because nasa finish line na kami. Dapat tapos na eh. That trilogy, it should have ended there. But no, I dropped it again.
But wait, there's more, isn't it?
No, there wasn't a third time. It only happened twice. But
Oh. But we
more-
wish there was. Sorry.
But what happened more or less was now it wasn't Choco Shopao. Now it was Choco Shopao with nuts with cream. Because it had pebbles on it. Alright. So anyway, moving on from that, Roy, I think it's about time we move on to another section. Like tech horror stories. Would you agree?
Well, yeah. I mean, what I talked about earlier was tech horror.
I know, but you want to know something scary? Alright, I'm just gonna give two horror
What?
stories that's not Choco Shopao related.
What?
But it's related in the same way, alright?
What?
So okay, this is a scary story, but I remember my mom. Alright, she has this new like a Samsung Galaxy like S9 back when it was like the top phone. Alright, it was like the newest phone. She had just bought it. She was so happy with it. And I can tell you this,
What?
not even 2 days
What?
after she bought it. Alright, me and my mom, I was with my sister. Like me and my mom, we were eating at Karamia. Alright, we were eating this wonderful cake. And what ended up happening was she ends up dropping her phone into like her chocolate cake.
Oh.
Oh, and
Well, that's tech horror stories right there.
yeah, that's basically the first one, and the second one is a little bit more like true to life. But this is a story that more or less like it's not related to me, but of someone I read on Reddit. He said that he had just bought his new like. All right, it was just 2 posts actually. The first one he said like, after saving up for many months, I was finally able to buy myself my dream gaming rig. And like everyone was like, "Hey, good job!" And then like the second, he says, "I spilled my G Fuel all over my new dream rig."
Oh no.
The duality of man, right there.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to add something.
Yes.
Completely unrelated though. It's privacy.
Yep. All right. So
Because-
actually, yeah, it is actually privacy because again, there's nothing scarier than losing your private information. But go on, Roy. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, because in this day and age, we're mostly just giving it out voluntarily without minding it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, get this. Are you going to buy like what I talked about earlier?
Yeah.
The
Yes, I would,
the
actually.
Amazon Ring drone camera that
Yes.
flies around your house.
Yes. I mean, Amazon Prime exists. Like the drone delivery, that exists, and I'd believe that.
No, not. Well, yeah, but no. What I mean is, people will buy that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and yes, you can argue about its probable violation of privacy, but then again,
Sign up for it.
we voluntarily do it. So it's like this one. There's more.
Mm-hmm.
It's also an Amazon product.
All right. So
Where-
is it Alexa?
No, Amazon Halo.
Okay. So what's with Amazon?
It's a smartwatch, okay?
Okay.
But it uses the smartphone camera because get this, it also has an app, right?
Okay.
Of course, smart things have an app.
Mm-hmm.
So it uses the smartphone camera to make a 3D model of your body. And
What?
and then it can measure body fat in percentages.
So it's not just stealing your personal information, it's literally stealing your physical body. Your astral form, it's taking it. No,
I mean,
don't take my-
it's technically not stealing if you consented to buying it in the first place and making an account. So
That's true. Why are you stealing my soul, Jeff Bezos? You signed
Oh
up
yeah,
for it.
but wait, there's more.
Okay. Why are you stealing
Okay,
my soul, Jeff
so the fitness band,
Bezos? Okay.
because it is a fitness tracker like my old Fitbit.
Yep.
But unlike my old Fitbit, this has a mic.
It has a microphone. Okay,
Yeah,
so that you can
you'd
talk
usually,
to it, yeah?
usually you'd use it to take phone calls from it.
Yep.
But get this, it can also record using record your voice and determine the tone of your voice.
So even your emotions aren't safe.
Yeah.
Oh no. Alright, so let's move. Alright, so anyway, the thing that I take from this, Roy, like from what you said is, alright, I've said this before, but our privacy, like our personal information, is our currency. We shouldn't be giving out like our personal information that easily, because again, it's what makes us valuable. Alright, your name, where you live, who you are, even how fat or how heavy you are, or even just how healthy you are is our like currency. That's what makes you valuable. So don't just give it away freely without knowing first what you're getting into. All right. And I think I think that's all we have for our section of the podcast. It's time to give the time to AJ for the game section.
Take it away.
AJ, take it away.
Thanks guys, I'll show the spooks from here. Hi, it's me again, AJ, and welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk. But for today, it's going to be a special episode. We're going to talk about our childhood horror game, Slender, and its origins. This will contain slight gore and might scare some people, but if you're okay with that, continue on listening. Slender, the 8 Pages, is a free-to-play indie-developed first-person survival horror video game released in June 2012 as a beta for Microsoft Windows and the OS X or OS X by Parsec Productions using the Unity engine. Slenderman, the monster or cryptid in Slender, is a famous character from 2009 that was popularized by the internet in creepypasta. Slenderman is known to hunt abandoned, crumbling halls, deep woods, and playgrounds with a rickety steel jungle gym. He gained a specific definition courtesy of a poster on Yahoo Answers in 2011, 2 years after the original post. The Slender Man is a supernatural creature that is described as appearing as a normal human being, but he is described as being 8 feet tall, and he has vectors or extra appendages that are described to be as sharp as swords. The creature is known to stalk humans and cause many disappearances. He is described as a shadow creature that has a missing face. The creature fits into many mythologies and legends from nations such as Germany and Celts, which brings up the possibility that he could be real. A man named Victor Search found this legend and made his own version of it, which he called Slenderman. The Slenderman is not exactly evil according to mythology, but Victor Search's version shows him as an evil creature that stalks humans to kill. In mythology, he was actually trying to save you from a painful death by taking you to the underworld early. His types of myths or mythos started in Europe's fairies, spelled with an E, where it was told some fays would kidnap children, causing disease, controlling their minds, teleport and trick people before leading them into their deaths. This also had a version in Germany, who was also a boogeyman, who takes away bad children in the forest and keeps them until they confess their naughty actions to their parents. In Britain, there's what they call the Black Man, who haunted footpaths and forests at night. His characteristics seem to be a primitive version of Slenderman. Also, they have a 7 feet tall monster who was black in color with textured skin and had violent depictions. In Eastern Europe, they had a creature named a tall man who was dressed like a nobleman in all black with multiple arms like those of snakes. And in Russia, they had a collector who hunts those who live in unconventional means like being an orphan or having a single parent. In Thailand, a civilization before the Colombian inhabitants of the Caribbean, has a legend named Hopia or Appa, in which is known to be the faceless humanoid that stalks, preys, and could drive people insane. They also see this creature as a spirit of the dead. In Asia, Japan has a spirit like this called Noperabo. A spirit with long limbs and is also faceless. This spirit haunts people who desecrate places. They also make people hallucinate and make them see the people they know wipe their faces off. In Babylonian history, they also believed in the Alu, who is a half-man, half-demon who is also faceless. This creature follows its prey to sleep and reportedly cause the loss of consciousness, loss of speech, and have a fixated stare as if they got petrified. In Brazil, they had a cave painting that could be a reference to the Slender Man around 9000 BC. This man was shown as someone with long limbs and having a child follow him. But these aren't the true origins of Slender Man. But it's amazing that people back then imagined a creature like him who was created in the 21st century. Slender Man first appeared on the Something Awful forums under a thread titled Create Paranormal Images. The first image of Slender Man, of a tall, out-of-focus figure next to a tree, was accompanied by a bit of text that sounds like the dialogue from a badly translated horror game. Slender Man is made by Victor Surge, and he said this boogeyman of his was inspired by H.P. Lovecraft, William S. Burroughs, and a couple of games of the survival horror genre, Silent Hill and Resident Evil. I feel the most directed influences were Zach Parsons' That Insidious, Beast, the Stephen King short story The Mist, the Say a Tale Regarding the Rape, reports of so-called shadow people Mothman, and the Mad Gasser of Mattoon, as per Victor Surge said. Slender, Slendy, Slenderman, whatever his name may be, is a product of the imagination of our generation. He's our own creation, our villain, our demon. A digital one, a digital ghost that haunts the internet and sometimes can influence the real world. And that's all for now. Thank you to TechCrunch and Creepy Place for this in-depth information I've researched and got to use for this episode. Thank you everyone for listening as well. That's it for today's Halloween special. Stay spooky. Happy Halloween, guys!
And that's it for the podcast. We hope you listeners out there had fun.
And before we go, we'd like to thank Jared Hortaleza for providing the background music for this episode and for the previous ones, as always.
And of course, we're here to also welcome our newest member, Andre Cordera. Right? Welcome, Andre, to the show.
Yep, and don't forget Ethan.
Yep, don't forget Ethan. And of course, our wonderful content manager, Sergey Magno.
And before we make more dad jokes, we'd like to conclude. This has been Tech Talk, and that's all we wrote. We'll see you next time.
Yep, that's all we wrote. We'll see you next time.